Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter and Ezekiel Trezevant. We are your Las Vegas Raiders beat writers on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It's great to have you with me today. We just got done talking to all the assistant coaches.
Yes.
Man, we're going to have so much great video today and tomorrow for you. Great. I thought there was a lot. Practice just finished. It was a short practice today, about I'm gonna guess hour and 15 minutes maybe.
Yes, sir.
Very short practice because they're doing install, getting ready for the game in Arizona. We got a lot to dig into, a lot to talk about, but I want to start with a very, very, very special announcement. Starting Fridays of game week.
Yes.
So this would be September 7th. Zeke is mostly going to be driving the bus on the podcast on Fridays. Going to give him Fridays, and we're excited to have him on that. He's going to do a great job, and we're so proud of him, and we love him, and we're just so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. You already know. Thank you.
You're the best. So, a lot to talk about today, Zeke. We're gonna talk more on Trey Hendrickson.
Okay.
Got a little bit more there. We're gonna talk a lot about the assistant coaches today. We're going to get into a little bit interesting discussion on some other issues. So let's just start. What was your big observation from practice today?
Aiden O'Connell getting that work in. And it was a lot of extra work for him. And, I think what stood out to me the most is that this is now a tendency. The coaching staff did something similar yesterday with the second string offensive line where it was rapid fire. Hey, we're going to line you up against the ones and we're just going to get these reps in. We're going to work. Mm-hmm. We're not running from the fact that this needs work or that needs work. We're going to work on it. And your whole team is going to watch you work on it. But Aiden out there today looked crisp. He looked good out there. He looked like he's using the frustration that he's had the last couple of days for positive.
I 100% agree. I want to talk to you about this. You weren't here when John Gruden was. And everyone knows I like John Gruden. I think he's a great football coach. So this is not a slam on John. But John coddled Derek Carr.
Okay.
And in private, he would rip him.
Yeah.
But never publicly.
Mm-hmm.
So when Josh McDaniels came,
mm-hmm.
Josh would rip himself.
Yeah.
Josh ripped everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but when he came and would rip Derek in front of the team, that was no bueno.
Right.
That's Spanish for no good.
Yes,
I'm learning.
Good man.
All right. And that was no bueno. And so what I love about Pete is, okay, you're not doing this great. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to just stay on it.
Yeah. 100%.
So in front of the whole team.
Yep.
Everybody saw you weren't good.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on it until you get it. I love that.
I think that adds to the transparency that these guys like, right? These guys there's a lot of guys that's been here for the last couple of years. They've repeatedly said, hey, just shoot us straight, right? Tell us the truth. Let us know where we stand. And I think there's no better way to let these guys know where they stand. For example, here, Pete told us in the press conference the day after the game, he said, hey, Aiden, when Aiden gets in, the offense runs a little bit slower. There was no running from the comment. It wasn't like he hid from the comment. No, this week we're gonna work on you getting the ball out, getting up to the line quicker. That adds to transparency, if you ask me, and it makes it a lot easier for a coaching staff to be equal in terms of how they're teaching everyone. And there's no hard feelings. Everything was said in the clear. We're working on it in the clear. Let's move on.
I'll tell you, great. I'm not going to say which coach, so I'll tell you privately, but don't email and ask. A Raider coach one time told me something, so I talked about it, wrote about it. And the players said to me, man, why are you picking on me on that?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Am I wrong? Well, coach was like, man, you're being tough on me.
Yeah.
So I called him. I go, wait a minute. I just talked to so-and-so.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, yeah, what'd he say? I told him, he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I'm using that to motivate him.
Yeah.
I go, well, he's telling me that you're telling him I'm being too hard. He goes, oh, well, Hondo, I'm just telling him, see, everybody else is noticing it. And
yeah.
They may be a little hard on you, but you may want to work on it.
Yeah.
See, and what I like about Pete, we're not going fast enough with Aiden. Next day in practice,
we're working on it.
I've been every day.
Yeah, 100%.
I love that. And you know what's funny? Players love that.
Yeah.
Players know the truth. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to be attacked.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's fair. The way he did it was very respectful. And again, I think the worst thing you could have done would have been the opposite of what Pete Carroll did, was to either not say it publicly but feel that way or not back it up in practice. I mean, when you just said it publicly a couple of days ago, I think it all adds to what he's trying to do, the culture he's trying to build. But I liked it. I respected it. And even yesterday with the offensive line, watching that second string offensive line, he was lining those guys up against the Max Crosbys. And we know you're the second string, but what better practice than the defensive line?
Oh, by the way, you need to speed it up against the ones.
Yeah, against the ones, 100%. And another thing he mentioned was, hey, they turned the volume up and they shortened the clock on Aiden yesterday. Those little things all add to it, right? If you can't handle it on the practice field, you're not going to handle it well on the game day.
I love his approach of, okay, you're not doing this good, so we're going to go work on it in practice.
This is the time.
This is the time. I love it. By the way, I want to give a big shout out. One of our listeners who happens to be a dear friend of Shannon and I, his name is Shai, really good friend of ours, watches the podcast every day. Love you, Shai. I'm having dinner with him last night. Okay. He says, why are you and Zeke doing the podcast in a closet? You got clothes behind you. Yeah. So I literally just want you to know, we're in the Raiders facility here. This is our media workroom where people do our podcasts. We do them here and other people do their podcasts here. And I understand it doesn't look like a professional studio, but it is what we have. Yes. And it's here. So we moved for you today, Shai. I just want everyone to see.
Yes, sir.
If you look over here, that's where we were facing yesterday with all the stuff thrown up there. So for you, Shai, we moved a little bit more professional. So, all right, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yes, sir.
Let's dig into coaches. I thought the coaches, as always, were absolutely brilliant. I want to start with Dylan McCullough, who is a guy, him and I have a very close mutual friend. So I have a connection with Dylan and did a tremendous job at Notre Dame. A lot of people who are close to Notre Dame, and I have friends who are have children on the team. I have friends on the coaching staff and friends in the administration told me you guys stole him from us. That was going to be a monster loss. He comes in, he gets Ashton Genty, Sincere McCormick, Zamir White, Raheem Mostert, Dylan Lobby, in no order. I'm just throwing him out there. Had a great chance to talk with him about that and just about no ego from Ashton. Mm-hmm. You know, he's the best running back in the draft since Saquon Barkley. Not saying he's Saquon. He's going to have to prove that, but the best sense. And comes in with no ego. That has impressed me about Ashton. How about you?
Yeah, Ashton, very down to earth guy, and he's been that way since we met him for the first time. I think the day after the draft, the first round of the draft. So very humble dude. You can tell he kind of has that. That's where the military background I believe he has in terms of his family adds to what he's doing here. So humble guy, easy to talk to. You wouldn't think that he's the number 6 overall pick just from talking to him, but very good, and very fun to talk to him.
And the other thing that Dylan and I spent a lot of time talking about, not really a lot, but watching him turn up field and run over that 49er, because we've seen it in practice.
Yeah.
It was nice to see it in the game. And I think it was good for Ashton to get that. You may remember, long time, I think he played in the league 12 years, maybe 10, but Dominic Raiola.
Okay.
His son, Dylan,
mm-hmm.
number 1 quarterback a couple years ago. He now plays at Nebraska. His other son, Donovan, mm-hmm. number 1 quarterback now, but Dominic's a good buddy of mine. And Dominic told me the best thing that ever happened to him was his rookie year when he got into a preseason game and got whacked. Mm-hmm. He goes, and then all of a sudden it slowed down, and I'm like, okay, I'm in the NFL now. Yeah. This is real football. I thought that was a big moment for him.
Yeah, I think it was a big moment for him. And another thing that was spoken about in terms of that hit specifically was it's twofold, right? You want to get that hit out the way, so you kind of remove any doubt, which I don't think Ashton had any doubts, but it's still good to get that first one out the way. But the other half of that is Ashton. You want to have a long career, right? So you kind of have to pick and choose those mm-hmm. spots in terms of how physical you are, especially as a running back. But I do think that first one, preseason, knock it out. Let's move forward. Same with the first touchdown, right? Kind of getting them in there, getting it off the board, and get any kind of mental aspects that there could have possibly have been removed.
I want to encourage everyone, if you've not seen the movie Show Me the Father by the Kendrick brothers, great movie makers, the Kendrick brothers, they just make some great movies. I love them. They did a movie on his life and his father. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, it's called Show Me the Father by the Kendrick brothers. It's a tremendous movie. I talked to Dylan about it. You can go listen to the video that we have where he talked about the movie. And he has his new book coming out. Mm-hmm. It Runs in the Family.
Okay.
So make sure you check out that book. It Runs in the Family. Tremendous. It's going to be a great book. His story is phenomenal. Just trust me, if you're a football fan or not, I don't care if you're male or female, football fan or not, go get the book. It's called, go get the movie called Show Me the Father, and the book coming out, which isn't the movie, It's different, but a little bit more details. That's called It Runs in the Family. I want to turn to Brennan Carroll,
Okay.
the offensive line coach. I got a ton of notes here because you know me, I park myself in front of the line.
Yes,
they always know when it's assistant coach's day, Hondo's going to sit his rear end in front of the offensive line coach and the defensive line. And then Zeke's running around talking to everybody else.
But teamwork making the dream. Yes.
But let's talk about Brennan. So here's a couple things that really stood out with me about Brennan. I love, I had a tremendous dad. I know that you did too. And great dads throw a big shadow.
Yeah.
And what I love about Brennan is he loves his dad. He adores his dad. He doesn't try to be his dad. And what I love is his dad doesn't try to make him Pete.
Yeah.
I love that. I respect their relationship so much. And it's really cool to see. And I talked with him about how much pride do you have as a son that your dad is loved? I mean, you got to admit, I've been around a lot longer than you. I've never seen in this short of a time a group of men love their head coach. These guys don't like him.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think I'm?
No, and I think the proof is in the pudding, as they would say, but more so in this case, the proof is in the progress that they've been making. The fact that they've made this much progress this quickly with so many changes is huge. Normally, I feel like when you have this many changes, it takes a little bit longer to be where they are.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to how much they like Pete Carroll, more importantly, how much they believe in him as a team.
Now, you always hear Pete, his keyword, compete, 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 compete.
Yes, sir.
That is not Brennan's keyword.
No.
You can tell he's an offensive line coach. His word, consistent, 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 consistent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could tell. I asked him about Colton. Oh, he's consistent.
Yeah.
Asked him about Dylan. He's like, oh, he's fantastic. He's consistent. Ask him about Jordan. Oh, he's consistent. JPJ, talking about JP. Get this. You ready for this one? JPJ has had 3 systems he's had to learn in 18 months.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot.
And y'all need to show some grace here now to JPJ.
That's a lot.
And then DJ, I loved he talked about him becoming a leader.
Yeah.
Because y'all know I love the mule. Delmar, DJ, Glaze, the mule. I love that kid. But he talked about he's just starting to show some leadership as a sophomore. Zeke, that's huge.
That's huge. And I think that speaks to, how early he started to play last season, right? Him and JPJ, those guys were thrown into the fire very, very early last season. And that confidence comes from the experience that they had last year. So I think the way he leads is going to be conducive to what the offensive line does. And I think it's good that DJ's taking that step.
Him and I were laughing because I talked about I'm not attacking Laki Tassi because he ain't ready to play in the NFL. And he goes, gee, you think so? and we were laughing. But he loves Laki Tassi's willingness to learn.
Yeah.
He loves his athleticism and agility. And this guy, folks, it is un-American and ill-human to be that size, to move the way he does. But this is something that's going to make you laugh because I think you were over talking to Coach Beatty or somebody. You were talking to Olsen when this was going on. He literally said, just today, I'm having to teach him about what Thanksgiving was.
Yeah.
He had no idea what Thanksgiving. Now, you're the coach of the offensive lineman when you're talking Thanksgiving
in August.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get on the topic of Thanksgiving?
That's our one cheat day. That is the one day. Thank
funny.
God for my mother-in-law. I love that woman. Thanksgiving at my mother-in-law, Zeke.
Yes, sir.
God is good. All right. So thank God. Yeah. Thank God they're not playing the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to play in the Lions. I just want to go to my mother-in-law's, sit down and say, feed me, oh blessed woman.
Yes.
All right. Let me talk about a couple other things that stood out to me about Brennan. Is I've heard a lot of people say Brennan Carroll got this job because of his dad. Okay. That's true. He came here because of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if my dad picked up the phone tomorrow and he's gone, but he picked up the phone tomorrow and said, I need you.
Yeah.
I'm gone. And I know you love working with us at SI. Mm-hmm. If your dad called you tomorrow, Zeke, I need you. You'd be like, I got to go. I'm a son.
Yeah.
And but he wasn't needing a job. He was coaching at a very high level, having a lot of success. He's coached a ton of different positions. And people saying that Pete Carroll hired Brennan because of, you know, he's not a good coach, but he just hired him because he's a kid. You're a moron. You literally sound stupid. And there are some that are saying this. You literally sound stupid. I love his knowledge of the game because he's coached so many positions.
Yeah.
And then having grown up with Pete, he knows his game.
Yeah, I think with Brennan, it's been interesting because I remember the first time he talked, I believe it was in May, he actually spoke very specifically about getting that call from his father. And with that question, it wasn't really what he said, it was how he said it. And you can kind of tell that he was pulled away by his dad, right? And that
He did not want to leave.
Yeah, and his nonverbal said that more than anything his mouth said. So I truly believe that just based off of being in front of him when that question was asked. So the skills that he has are there. And I think, they kind of have people say that you got that because of your dad probably drives him a decent amount. But what he's done with this offensive line is very noticeable. They respond well to him and they trust him.
And he's a good coach.
Yeah, 100%.
He's a very, very good coach. So let's turn to Robbie Leonard. Man, I love my guy, Robbie. Good buddy, good friend. I just love Robbie. And, one of the things that he and I talked about is Max Crosby talked about it meant a lot to him that they kept PG in him.
Yes.
He loves them. And one of the things, because Robbie's a young coach, is when you have a superstar like Max Crosby, there is a tendency. Now, Jimmy Johnson did this with Emmitt Smith and admitted it. Emmitt Smith would be in meetings and be asleep.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
But the third string running back cut him. Robbie Leonard, Max loves to be coached.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to be screamed at, yelled at, called out. And when he got his big deal, he talked about Robbie and he wanted to be with him. And I know Robbie, so I can attest that this was not fake. He hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
And he's like, wow. If that's accurate, I'm like, if it's accurate, I just told you.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, but I mean, you can tell he almost, and he was sitting, but almost took a step back. I don't think Robbie Leonard realizes how good Robbie Leonard is.
Robbie doesn't get his due. But at the same time, I think it's part of it is because A, is quiet demeanor, but B, he's coaching in the trenches, right? And none of those guys really on the defensive or offensive line get their due. It's the dirty work. It gets overlooked a lot. And I think that's kind of what's going on with Robbie. But in terms of his ability as a coach, it excites me just to watch him teach and to watch him coach because he's so technical and he does teach everyone the same exact way. I've seen him take Max aside, Tyree aside, on down to the guys that you have to look at the sheet to figure out who they are. And he shows them all the same love. He's on them all the same way. And his ability to develop talent, I think, is what sets him apart. He's had guys with Max Crosby talent and Max Crosby, traits, and he's had less, and he's done work with them, every step of the way. So I'm always very impressed with him. I like watching Robbie work. I love watching him be the technician of a coach that they have on the staff.
So the thing about Robbie that really sticks out to me is, first of all, if Patrick Graham gets a head coaching job in the next cycle, which he should, I'm 100% convinced he's going to try to take Robbie Leonard to be his DC.
I think he deserves a shot.
Okay.
Yes.
If I bought an NFL team tomorrow, Patrick Graham's going to be one of my two guys I look at to hire as my head coach, and Robbie Leonard's going to be my first choice as a DC. This guy is a great coach, and he has a relationship with his players. He is able to build. There's an old adage, and I think it was Jim Tressel's dad, who was a famous football coach, that said it originally, but people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Yeah.
Robbie Leonard gets in these guys' faces and coaches them hard.
Yeah.
And they love him.
Yeah. And I think he's wise enough and he's smart enough to know that, hey, sometimes you can't yell at everybody, right? You got to communicate differently. You got to communicate with how that player responds the best. And that's something that I've also noticed about him. Some guys need to be yelled at. Some guys maybe not so much. And I think he knows how to find that perfect touch.
Now, the other thing that I talked with Robbie about is I've noticed something different with Max this year. Max is used to just yell at everybody, including himself, by the way.
Yeah.
Literally, some of Max Crosby's greatest conversations is talking to himself. It's pretty fun, isn't it?
Sign of greatness.
But now you're watching, there's some guys he's going over and he's putting his arm, as long as their effort's good.
Yeah.
He'll scream at you if your effort's bad.
Yeah.
But have you noticed that he's
Mhm.
putting his, I love you, I appreciate you. You can see him. I watched him talk to one of the rookie offensive linemen.
Mhm.
He is maturing even more into. He's not just the leader of the defense. He's not just the best player in the team. He is the heart, the soul, the mind, the spirit. Watching Max, he gets every time he gets into a deal. I tell everyone he's just going to get better.
Yeah.
Watching Max because he's been playing great, but watching Max the leader, I think part of that being a daddy.
Oh yeah, 100%. That comes with being, that comes with fatherhood. Those fatherhood traits kind of come out. But at the same time, I think, another part of that is that Max has all but mastered the on the field part. And after a certain point, once you put that talent out there, we know you have it. Can you be impactful and get that out of the rest of your teammates? And I think that's how Max is starting to spread his influence even more to where he's being an impact even when he's not on the field because of those times that you spoke about.
He could not hide his excitement for Thomas Booker.
Oh yeah.
Let me just say something. Raiders stole this guy. Now, listen, I think Howie Rossman's one of the best GMs in all the NFL. So if you take this as me saying Spy Tech, no. They had a need at corner. They got a good one with some potential in Jacorian Bennett that was, I think, going through a crisis of confidence at a very strong position. So when I say they stole him, they did not. They got far more than what they gave. But I can understand why Philly did the deal. I'm not calling out Rossman, but he could not hide his excitement about Thomas Booker.
Yeah, Max knows how much of an asset Booker is and will be. He's stout right there, and I think him right next to Adam is going to be even better. So yeah, but you could tell as soon as Booker came up in conversation, Max just, smile on his face, and kind of tell he was almost trying to pull back a little bit his excitement.
And again, Snowden.
Yeah,
I mean, he's sitting there talking about Snowden and even saying, I need him to be, this is his exact words, ready? I need him to be a killer,
yeah,
a
yeah.
trained killer.
He's got the size, he's got the skills to do it. He just has to do it.
Again, everyone's been raving about Tyree. And now, listen, y'all can go back and watch old interviews with me and Robbie because there's a lot of them on there. And he's always been truthful about Tyree. Yeah,
Yes.
he's coming.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now all of a sudden it's, oh.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm telling you I laughed. You ready for this one?
Mhm.
Somebody said to me, well, I was watching a guy on YouTube that said Tyree hasn't done anything in camp. Well, clearly he's sitting in his mother's basement doing YouTube videos because
Yeah,
he ain't at camp.
yeah.
Because those of us who are at camp, Tyree's looking good. Talk about
Tyree looks good. He looks like, again, he's making the progress. Now he just has to actually go out there and put that on the field. I can't say it enough. I think Tyree is going to impact the game maybe more so off the stat sheet than he does on the stat sheet. So a lot of times what Tyree does might lead to a Max Crosby sack, or it might lead to a sack or a bad pass when he puts the pressure on the quarterback. So I think that's how Tyree's going to impact the game. I think we have to keep that in mind when we're judging what he's doing.
Yeah, and remember, folks, you hear me talk about this a lot with Adam Butler. Adam does so much that doesn't show up on a stat sheet. Okay, so maybe they say to a Tyree, we need you to get upfield quick to set the edge. So then it forces a quarterback to the inside where then they stunt Max and Max gets a sack. Well, if this was Walkie, he'd get an assist.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right, another one that really got me was Kuntz.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to Robbie talk about how bad he wants it. And we talked about this yesterday. I just think he's going through, and Pete said it, learning how to trust your injuries healed.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through this where I had a major injury. I mean, I had multiple surgeries to fix a shattered ankle. And I remember the first time I walked, so I went from a wheelchair to a walker to crutches to a cane. And then I remember the first time I had to walk with nothing. He was scared.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a grown man. Well, scared.
Yeah.
Just because, is it going to break?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my orthopedic surgeon saying, that thing is protected by steel and bolts and plates. He says, listen, you're more Darth Vader than you are Hondo. He goes, trust me, your ankle can handle it. But that's a process, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and I think some of it's just human nature, right? Is the second guess it, especially when you're playing such a physical sport as football. And you think about these guys, they need that to explode, to bounce off, to get off the game or off the line, excuse me. So you got to trust yourself, but you have to work and get there.
So let's talk about AB Adam Butler, my very good friend. I love him. I'm friends with a lot of these guys, but I love Adam. And you guys know he talked about on the podcast how much he loves Robbie. And Robbie and Adam, different but very similar. They're just no BS,
Yeah.
no nonsense kind of guys. Don't come try to tell me, gee, I think you're great, but can I make a cup? No, Adam wants you to walk up. What is wrong with you? Get your head, you know what I mean? And that's Robbie. So that's why they get along. But he talked about his no nonsense, no BS approach. Talk about Adam, would you?
Oh yeah, listen. When I kind of laughed when you said no BS because I don't think I could explain Adam Butler anymore. Great dude, cool guy. He'll laugh with you. Don't get me wrong, but off the top, he's definitely a very serious dude. But to me, that just tells me how focused he is, and he's focused throughout the day. He's not just focused when he puts the helmet on. He's focused leading up to the day after practice. You can just kind of tell he's an intellectual guy, and he's here to work. That's what I get from him.
He just shows up
Yeah.
and does his job.
Yeah.
And what I love about, I love linemen. What are you laughing at?
I do too.
Even though you're the size of the equipment manager.
Listen. I love linemen. That's my spot.
I got to show this up. Put your arm up. Show your guns. Come on.
Now. Oh no, they're small right now. I lost some weight in training camp, but listen, give me like 2-3 weeks. I'll be back. I promise you.
Zeke told me the other day, I lost 15 pounds.
I've sweated out 15 pounds at training camp. I gotta go get that back. I gotta get that weight back. It's bothering me.
Jazz is mad, isn't she?
Yes. She's called me out a couple times.
By the way, if you were to meet, you guys all know how much I love Shannon. You got to meet his wife, Jazz. She is the sweetest. She's a younger version of Shannon.
Yes.
We both married completely out of our leagues. Okay. I don't know how we got on it. Oh, I do know how we got on it. So, I mean, you're ripped and you look great, but for you to say
I love linemen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You look like you're a strength and conditioning guy. You're so.
I don't even look like that. You've seen the Raiders strength and conditioning guy. That man is yoked. I'm not. I can't even claim that I'm smaller than the strength and conditioning.
But let's get to one guy that the most shocked me when Robbie was talking. He's talking about Jonah Lalu. Listen to some things he said. He's hungry. He's such a disciplined kid. I need him to play with more freedom.
Yes.
Usually with young players, you're worried because they're not staying with the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
He needs them to be a little bit more. But here's what he said that blew my mind. He said he believes can become an elite player. But here's the big one. Ready for this? Doesn't know how good he is.
So to that point,
and coming from Robbie Leonard.
So to that point, I was actually kind of going. So listen, when Jonah came up and spoke, I think it was within the last week or two, Jonah spoke specifically about how he has imposter syndrome, and I think that leads into how he plays sometimes because he has that, and I have it to a certain degree too. So you're not alone, Jonah. But what I want to tell you, Jonah, is let it go. Right? Go play free. Don't think about it. You are here, and not just here. You've already grown and you've developed here for a little bit of time. Let's just go ahead and let it loose. Let it go play. I saw a play that he made last game, and you can kind of just see that fire, right? That fire in him. So excited for him. He's excited. Hometown kid. How can you not root for him? So excited to see what he does this season.
So for those that don't know, tell them what imposter syndrome is.
Basically, in not so many words, where you don't necessarily feel, and I'm kind of using Jonah's word here, kind of paraphrasing, you don't necessarily feel like you belong. You know you belong, you're there, but there's still a part of you that's like, am I supposed to be here? Am I good enough here? That's kind of what he's had to get over. He's getting over, but that's a real thing. I don't care how successful you are, what profession you are in. A lot of people deal with that. And honestly, you only really deal with that if you're moving on up. Somebody that's going downhill, there's no really imposter syndrome. People that are moving on up the chain, that's when you start to deal with it. So I just really identified when Jonah said that because it shows it doesn't matter how big, how fast, how strong, how much money you have. Imposter syndrome is real and it impacts your performance. Mm-hmm. Where Jonah is at right now, he's not letting it impact it as much. He just has to go let it loose.
I remember I have a very good friend who's a surgeon. And after he got done in his residency, he'd done hundreds and hundreds of surgeries as a resident. But his first surgery on his own, mm-hmm. Nobody in the room to tell him if you're screwing up.
Yeah.
And he said to me, I got nervous.
Yeah.
Because I panicked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but what if I make a mistake? Well, you've done this hundreds of times.
Yeah, exactly.
And imposter syndrome really goes through all of it.
Yes.
And let me just say something to you. He's told me many times, and since we hired him at SI, you belong in the room. You're
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You're so good. And
Yes, sir.
people love you and they appreciate you. And I'm so proud to work with you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I got the impression today talking to the coaches that we're going to see some starters.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this right now. This is the first thing Pete's done that if he does it,
Mhm.
I'm going to cede to him because this is a Hall of Fame coach. But I'm going to tell you, I'm okay. Let me just go through it. I don't want to see Colton Miller out there. I don't want to see Dylan Parham out there. I don't want to see Jordan, but I could understand an argument why. JPJ, fine. I don't want to see Delmar DJ Glaze the Mule out there. I don't want to see Ashton Genty out there. I don't want to see Jacoby. I don't want to see Brock or Mayer. Y'all know, you know where I'm going with this. There are some guys that you just know, lock on the 53, lock on the first string. Don't play them. Now, if Pete does, you don't have to worry. I ain't going to be critical of a man that's won championships at all levels and is a Hall of Famer. Shut up, Hondo. Who gives a rip about your opinion? But I'm going to tell you, I don't like it.
You just got to be smart. I'll be honest with you. I can kind of see where Pete is coming from in the sense of you still need more reps, right? And you don't want to
compete. Don't be afraid. I love it.
Right? It's consistent with the compete.
I'm not saying he's wrong.
But you got to be smart, right? And I think where you're coming from is the sense of this team cannot afford an injury. I'm not exaggerating. And cannot afford not one injury. So you're risking that throwing those guys out there. But I think he looks at the risk versus reward. I think he looks at it as another game experience for them to add to the continuity. I think that's kind of where he's coming from.
Let's talk through that.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe in the first string on this offense. Let's talk about offense.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
If they lose Michael Mayer, I don't think the offense suffers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, if they lose Brock, I think it hurts them. But the way Michael's playing and everybody else, I think it hurts them. But losing both hurts them. Okay?
Yeah.
Ashton, turn out the lights.
Yeah.
The party's over. Gino?
Yeah. You got
Gino? Yeah, just shut the curtains, baby. Shut it down. Play for a draft pick. I mean,
yeah.
Okay. Jacoby, massive loss.
Yes.
Colton, oh dear God. Colton goes down. Or Dylan. Jordan. Delmar DJ Glaze.
Not one injury, guys. Cannot afford one injury.
Now listen, in all defense of JPJ, who I've put this out there, I think he's going to be great.
Yes, sir.
I don't think he's going to be good. But where he is right now, if they were to lose him and have Kappa, I think they would be okay. I think it would be a drop-off.
Yeah,
I think
JP
would be a drop-off.
Yes.
But I think they'd be okay. Flip it over. Max?
Nah.
Okay. We all know what happens when Max goes out. Okay. AB, Adam Butler, that's a huge loss.
Yeah.
Elandon? Devin?
Go down the line.
IPM?
Go down the line.
Jeremy Chin?
Go down the line.
Eric Stokes?
Check. Can't lose any of those guys. Can't lose them.
Dear Lord God Almighty. I mean, listen, I'm going to make this very clear. My opinion doesn't matter, Jack Squatch. But Pete, say your novenas. And you know what? They also may just be wanting everybody to be ready.
Yeah.
And then get up there and say, y'all ain't playing.
Yeah, that could be some of it too.
Y'all ain't playing.
Right.
But
they've been pretty true to what they say. So usually if Pete said it is, let's go.
But you know what? You know the guy has stones.
Yes, 100%.
You understand that term because that's an old school term.
Yes.
You know the guy's got stones when he's like, no, I tell my guys, compete. Yeah. Why am I going to go to Arizona and not let him compete? Okay, so you put him out there for one snap, then everybody get off the field.
Yeah, keep it brief.
Here's what I would do. Okay, you're going to play one snap.
Yeah.
And then I would walk over and I would say to Jacoby, I need you to get a false start. False start. All right, everybody out.
Everybody's on.
There's your one.
There's it. They started.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about Trey because I had a bunch of people ask me, Hondo, you said in your report you didn't think anything was imminent, but that people do think they're the front runners. That is absolutely the thought process. But I don't think anything's imminent. I'm not even saying it's probable. It's just possible. But again, I was very open, but I'm telling you in talking to people around the NFL today, this morning, they still felt like where the value is, if they can get the value to a certain point, that the Raiders are a perfect fit for him. So again, I want to reiterate, we both know who we're talking to, who we're hearing stuff from, and I don't think either one of us thinks it's I put the chances at 15%, but it's still at this point around the NFL, the feeling is they're the front runner, and I think that would be a massive addition.
Well, things move quickly in the NFL. I think everybody can attest to that. You can go to, I want to say you can go to sleep and things can change, but literally you can get in your car and 30 minutes later, something completely different than what you thought. It's just the NFL. So that's one thing. But in terms of fit, I don't think there's any question that there's a great fit here on a lot of different levels. So, it makes sense to me. I think it would be a great thing to make happen, but we got to see.
Just got to see. And I think I had a lot of people ask me, what do I think the timeline would be? Probably before the second game of the season. I could see it. The Bengals waiting to see, is he really going to hold out?
Yeah. Is he serious?
Is he serious? Whatever. So, but I think that's where it is. Last thing I want to talk about is John Spytek is being very aggressive. He's talked to a lot of teams about a lot of different trades. A lot of, hey, where are you loaded? Where are you not? And I would not be shocked. Take Trey Hendrickson out of this, okay? I wouldn't be shocked if this roster, if the 53-man roster, if there's not a guy that makes it that's not on the roster today.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. You said if
I would not be shocked on when they get their final roster going into the first game.
Okay.
If there's somebody on that roster that isn't on the roster today.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be shocked at all. No. Because, you got to think about, even from signing Edmonds not too long ago to signing Pratt, right? They've shown that they're willing to make the moves.
But they're being aggressive.
Yeah, they again.
And Spytek, I can just tell you, people around the NFL.
Yeah, they've proven it. They've already shown it with their last two moves. Yes, sir.
And people around the NFL are talking about it. Yeah. Spytek I say Spytek. I'm referring to everybody on the third floor.
Front office, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and that they're working it. So I'm going to tell Raider Nation, I think y'all need to take a really deep breath. They understand where they're at. They get this. They understand the process. They understand, and they are being aggressive. Somebody said yesterday, it may have been Adam Hill of the Review Journal. You were there, but Pete made like 280 some.
It was a ton of moves when he very first got to Seattle, I believe.
Was it Adam Hill who said
it was Adam. It was a ridiculous amount of moves that were made. Yes.
And you add a Spytek to that mix who is aggressive, and a Tom Brady who is aggressive. I'm telling you guys, y'all just need to sit back. I'm telling you right now, I don't think this is a playoff team. I still don't feel that. Camp has not convinced me. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm going to next week, before the season, so maybe 10 days, give my final prediction. And my first prediction was 9-8. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it there. It's going to depend. I want to see how a couple things happen. I want to see if they make some decisions that are either for this year or the future.
Yeah.
And I think you know what positions I'm talking about.
Yes.
So that's going to determine it as well. But it doesn't mean they're not going to be aggressive and look for where can we improve all the time.
I think they're going to be aggressive, but more than anything, guys, they're going to be smart. I think smart is the default that they're going with first. So if they can make a move and it makes sense, I think they're probably going to try to pull the trigger. But if it just does not make sense, they're not going to do anything that's going against all the other moves they made up until this point. They will be consistent.
100% agree with you. All right, everybody. Tell them, by the way, si.com/NFL/Raiders. We're pumping out 15 to 20 stories a day. We're getting you video. We're getting you podcasts. We're getting you analysis, news, information. Ain't no one covering the Raiders for you. And it's 100% free. There's no paywalls. You're not worried about, am I going to be able to read? You can read it all. We're pumping it out for you. We got a great team giving you great information. Zeke's just crushing it as well. Tell them where to find you on Twitter.
Yes, easy, TREZ_SI.
And of course, you can find me at Hondo Carpenter and on Threads and IG at Hondo SR. We'll see you all there. God bless you, everybody.